All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations, to the elect and to the brothers that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth out with faith and sincerity. I'm Shema Allah from the Great Millstone Houston camp. And I really don't know what I'm going to title this lesson, but basically what I'm going to be going into is sticking to the doctrine. Because you're going to have many people that come into this thing and come into this truth and fall away. Because there are going to be many called into this thing, but few are going to be chosen. And I'll start with that. This is Matthew 22:14. For many are called, but few are chosen, right? So there are going to be many Israelites, right? Because you have to be an Israelite to come into this thing. This truth is only for Israel. Salvation is only for Israel. So it says many are called, but few are chosen. So many Israelites are going to come into this truth, but only few are going to endure into the end. So it's important to stick to what was taught, so you won't be moved by the things or the different doctrines and knowledge that these people claim to have. You won't be moved by these things, right? You got to be rooted. This is Colossians 2:6. As ye have therefore received Yahushua the Lord, so walk ye in him. How do we receive him? Through accepting this gospel, by accepting the word, because Yahushua is the word. It says, lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. It says, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So rooted and built up in, it said rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith. So you got to be rooted in this thing, and the doctrine, and this truth, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Just like a tree is rooted in the ground, it's not so easily moved. You can't go up to no tree and try to push it over with your hands. You can barely knock a tree out of the ground by trying to drive into it. It just won't work, because the tree is rooted, and that's how you got to be, right? That's how you got to be towards the different doctrines out here that these people are teaching, right? Because you're gonna have people that come up with crazy things, but you shouldn't be shaken by that. This is Ephesians 4:14. Says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Right. So there's gonna be many people speaking some BS out here, right? But you can't be tossed to and fro with that. You gotta be on one thing, because there's only one truth. Right, it speaks about that at the beginning of this chapter, Ephesians 4. It's only one faith. Right, you can't be tossed to and fro. You can't be double-minded. You gotta be assured of this thing, and I'll get that precept next. But it says, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. So these people be just making up some stuff just to deceive people, right? They be crafty, right? The scriptures say that the evil men and seducers waxing worse and worse. It says being deceived. It says deceiving. Let me grab it. I don't want to misquote it. Deceiving. 2 Timothy 3:13, it says, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived, right? So they be deceived in their own minds, right? Because you be having some of these people out here, they be thinking that right. They be thinking that they have the truth, right? But they are deceived, and they go out and deceive others. You know. So you got to be rooted in the faith, rooted in the truth. All right, so you can withstand against those things. So you can know that ain't nothing but a bunch of BS, right? This is the next verse says, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, right? So it says, but continue in the things that you have learned. So the things that you have learned from the apostles and the elders on down, you're supposed to stick to those things. Continue in them, right? Stay in these scriptures from how you was taught to be in them. Right? The different breakdowns that you learned. Stick to that. You hear anything else is not the truth. It says, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of. So you got to be confident in what is being taught is the truth. Right? You can't just be, learning and you don't really believe. We supposed to be confident in this. Like, we just know that this is what it is. And this is what we do believe. Like, it is, there's nothing else. This is the truth. It says, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. And who do we learn it from? The apostles and elders of great millstone. These are the men that the Most High put the Spirit on to teach us. And he revealed things to them, and they teach it to us. It says 2 Timothy 1:13, hold fast the form of sound words which thou hast heard of me, in faith and love which is in Yahushua. So the things, this is the Apostle Paul speaking. So he was speaking, right? He was saying the things that they heard of him. He said, hold fast those words, right? And he was an apostle, and it goes for our apostles as well. The things that we have heard of them, the things that they tell us to do, right? We're supposed to hold fast, and we're supposed to keep those words in our minds and follow those words. The things that they teach, the advice that they give us. Titus 2:7, and in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works. Right? I mean, you go into the word pattern in the blue letter, it says they basically doing things that's worthy to be imitated by others. Good character, right? According to the scriptures, walking godly. Because when you come into the truth, your whole mind frame has to change. That is what's required of you. So by doing that, you will have that pattern of good works. It says, and doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Right? So like the scriptures say, you got to study to show thyself approved, right? When you study in this thing and study the breakdown, to study the different scriptures, right, that you have been taught, that's the sound speech right there. That's the sound doctrine, right? It says, let me get that real quick. 2 Timothy. Let me see. This is 2 Timothy 2:15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right, so you have to study to rightly divide this thing, rightly, break this thing down. Right, so he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Because you're going to be speaking the truth. Right, but saying things like, for example, that John the Baptist isn't in the truth, that can be condemned. Right, you can go in the scriptures and prove that that's a false statement. Teaching that Edomites can make it, that can be condemned, because the scriptures is against that. The virgin birth, all of those things, you can be anything contrary to what's in the scriptures, right, can be condemned. That's why you have to hold fast onto what the apostles and the elders teach us, right, and believe those things and be assured of those things. This is 1 Timothy 4:15. It says, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profit may appear to all. Right? You got to meditate upon these scriptures. Right? Just like King David said, meditate upon these words, day and night. Joshua said it. Right? Then you shall have success. You have success in the spirit. He said that thy profit may appear to all. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Right? So if you're teaching the truth, you teaching the true gospel, you gonna save yourself and the ones that's listening to you, the elect. Like this is how we are gonna get saved, by preaching this word, having faith and works. The 2 Timothy 3:15 says that these scriptures are able to make us wise unto salvation. Right, and right here it says, continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. This is what Yahweh shall pray for. John 17:9. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. This is Yahweh shall speaking on his elect men, right? His elect period. Right, he's praying for them, not for the whole world of Israel. Right, because that's what that world is talking about. That's the cosmos. Right, it says, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. John 17:20. It says, neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their words. So you're going to have people believing on the words that the prophets are speaking. Right? But the only way they'll be saved is they elect. But you got to have the true doctrine. Right? Because if you don't have the true doctrine and you teaching some madness, you leading them astray, which could lead them unto death. But if you have the true doctrine, right, the 100% understanding, that's what we have here at Great Millstone, right? Then you showing them the path unto life, unto salvation. Right, so it's important to stick to what has been taught. Stick to the things that we learned from the apostles and elders. So that we can be saved, right, and others can be saved too. So that really was the lesson. So with that, I'm giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Shem Rachakadash. I'm gonna give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and salutations to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing the truth out in faith and sincerity. Shalom.